waiting in the evidence room at a securitized police warehouse in suburban Ottawa, and there it is.
That's it.
The phony Churchill.
Let's take a look.
The faked photo of Winston Churchill, a key clue in Canada's art heist of the century.
This is the evidence?
This is the evidence that was recovered from the scene.
Wow.
Now discolored by forensic chemicals, CBC News was given special access to what has now been scoured for fingerprints and DNA. A scrawled, forged signature, and Churchill's hand, the only signals now on view that this was meant to be that. One of the most iconic portraits of the last 100 years, known as the Roaring Lion, a vintage photo of the British Prime Minister after a wartime speech in Ottawa.
When I warned them that Britain would fight on alone.
Taken by Canada's Yousuf Karsh in 1941. Stoic, purposeful, resolute, stolen. The still unsolved mystery began here at a castle of a hotel in downtown Ottawa, the Chateau Laurier. Karsh himself once worked and lived here. He gifted the Churchill and others to the hotel as a thank you, and for decades it hung alongside some of his other photographic masterpieces right out in the open for all to see and enjoy until it was taken.
Every day someone...
Every day. People come and ask, where was it? What happened? Did you find it? Every day.
Really?
Hotel manager Geneviève Dumas can still hardly believe the Churchill's gone.
It was right here. The plaque is still there.
Holes in the wall and a brass nameplate is pretty much all that's left.
A swap happened, and there's special anchors. It was bolted on 4 anchors, so somebody knew how to do it, knew how to remove it. I don't know.
One big clue, the fake left behind by the thief. This is it back when it was on the wall. It was only last August that a hotel staffer noticed the frame was too dark. Here's an old photo of the original. In hindsight, it's easy to see the difference. On the left, the original frame is gold, not brown. On the right, the fake is overall smaller. But for months, no one noticed.
So when this happened, we asked for anybody that had pictures of Churchill to find
Hotel guests sent in photos they'd taken, hoping that it would help crack the case. The most recent shot of the original in place was this one, from Christmas Day 2021.
People were sending us pictures. You were one of them, Mr. Hunter.
I had the fake.
The
right?
latest original was December 25th. So when you sent us that picture of the fake on January 6th, we know that it disappeared between December 25th and January 6th.
That's right. The photo of the print, the first known photo of the fake, was taken by me. Why? Well, it all goes back to my late mother, who in the 1950s helped get Churchill re-elected in the UK, after which he sent her a signed letter of thanks, which became a family heirloom, and for years stood alongside a copy of a Karsh at our home in Toronto. Whenever I'm in Ottawa, I'd stop by the hotel to see the vintage Roaring Lion so that I could, in a sense, say hi to my mom. And last January, I took this picture, not knowing that months later, by fluke, it would narrow the window for the theft to just 12 days. And here's another clue. This is the lobby just recently, next to the room with all the photos. This is the lobby around the time the Karsh was stolen, in another shot that I took on that trip. Ottawa was in a COVID lockdown. Perfect timing, says ex-FBI agent Robert Whitman in Philadelphia, who years ago founded the FBI's art heist division.
That to me would be opportunity.
A valuable photo in a near-empty hotel.
What went through your mind when you heard about the Karsh theft in Ottawa?
Well, the first thing I thought of was it was an inside job. It would have to be someone who had access, who was supposed to be there. When it comes to these
and savvy enough to hang that fake in its place. In the world of art crime, he says, fakes are a key tool.
It's not a good reproduction, but that's all it takes, because people aren't looking specifically at that. The casual observer is not going to see that's not the original.
Fakes, he says, are meant to buy time for the thief. Most people won't see the difference, at least not at first.
It just has to be close enough.
Close enough.
Eventually, he says, most stolen art comes onto the market. And when that happens,
Someone talks about it. They tell the wrong person. The wrong person turns around, tells the police, and then there's an undercover operation to recover it.
that said, it's a process that can take years. Meanwhile, say those who know this stuff, the world has lost a piece of history. In the President's Wing at the Smithsonian Portrait Gallery in Washington, familiar faces are framed on wall after wall after wall. And in a special room brought out just for us, a prime minister. Another rare, made by Karsh himself, roaring lion. Smaller than the one stolen in Ottawa, cherished by curator Anne Schumard.
It's an artifact of that moment, and I think that's one of the things that makes it special.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is. It's extraordinary.
Schumard underlines Karsh prints are always of value, but the Churchill itself is special. Not least with its backstory. Churchill's cigar snatched away by Karsh moments before the photo, bringing that now famous scowl.
It made Karsh's career. I mean, up until that point, he was really not known outside of Canada. It became the most well-known of all of his portraits over time. If someone, even if they don't know the name Karsh, if they think about Winston Churchill, this is probably the image that comes to mind.
When you think of Churchill,
you think of this.
you think of this.
So this was the Karsh apartment.
They lived here.
They did.
Come on, Stuart.
For 20 years.
It's beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
Back at the chateau, Geneviève Dumas takes us into the rarely seen rooms where Karsh spent so many years.
I see Hemingway, George Bernard Shaw.
His work, icons, all on every wall, underlining for Dumas what's been lost.
It needs to be shown to the world. It needs to come back here where it belongs. I'm sincerely hoping this will reach someone who knows what happened, and this will make the picture to come back.
You sound so frustrated.
Yes, I'm frustrated. This is part of this hotel. It's part of the history. It's part of Canada, of Ottawa. It belongs here.
All right, thank you.
And with that, Ottawa police take the fake into the back room. Their investigation remains active, but the roaring lion remains gone.
Mr. Hunter, you are a deep well. This story could only happen to you. I wonder, now that you're so tight with the police about all this, what are they telling you about that investigation?
The investigation is indeed still active, Adrienne. I mean, police tell us they've been sent multiple leads by multiple people. We did ask if they've ruled out that it might be an inside job, but police wouldn't say one way or the other, citing the ongoing investigation. The hope, and this point was made by everyone we spoke with, is that a renewed spotlight on the theft could, trigger something. It's like our ex-FBI art heist investigator told us, loose lips can often lead to resolution in these things. Everyone agrees this theft represents a significant loss for Canada. Police emphasize tips can be made privately. The key, they say, is simply to get the Churchill back, Adrienne.
No kidding. Let's get it home. Thank you for this, Paul.
You're welcome.